Reborn, I immediately signed the divorce papers my wife threw at me. The man my wife, Qiao Wanqing, kept on the side had been exposed to prevent her lover from bearing the stigma of coveting another man's wife. My wife pleaded with me, holding the divorce agreement. Jiang Chen died, saving me back then. He's her only brother. I can't just ignore him. Can't you be more magnanimous? Back then, Qiao Wanqing was maliciously targeted by a business competitor. As her car spun out of control, Jiang Chen recklessly threw herself towards the driver's seat, wrenching the steering wheel to avoid disaster. In the end, Qiao Wanqing was unharmed, but Jiang Chen was severely injured and near death. Before dying, she entrusted the care of her younger brother, Jiang Chen, to Qiao Wanqing. In my previous life, when I learned she intended to sacrifice me for Jiang Chen's sake, I broke down emotionally, tearing the divorce agreement to shreds. But ultimately, I was diagnosed with stomach cancer. I had intended to let Qiao Wanqing go, and let myself go too. However, just because Jiang Chen remarked, Brother Yujing couldn't be deliberately tormenting sister, could he? She concluded I was feigning illness, even thinking I was playing hard to get. To escape the pressure of public opinion, she didn't hesitate to frame me for infidelity, falsely accusing me of seducing an intern, and sued for divorce. In despair, I ended my own life prematurely. Yujing will explain to the public that we had already planned to divorce a year ago, but it was postponed for certain reasons. In the restaurant, as I stared blankly at a glass of water, Qiao Wanqing spoke up. Just the day before, paparazzi released evidence suggesting Jiang Chen was being kept by Qiao Wanqing. The sensational label, third party, triggered a network-wide denunciation of Jiang Chen. Qiao Wanqing, the female CEO of the Qiao Group, was branded as an adulteress with a chaotic private life. Overnight, the Qiao Group's stock plummeted. In my previous life, when the news first broke online, I had scoffed at how such misleading photos based on rumors could sway public opinion. But when Qiao Wanqing handed me the divorce agreement, all mockery instantly froze on my lips, turning into endless irony. I hysterically questioned her relationship with Jiang Chen. If it were merely baseless rumors, there were countless ways to quell them, yet she chose to push me out as a scapegoat. She claimed I'd cheated first, that I was incompetent, and that's why she couldn't endure the loneliness. Yujing, Qiao Wanqing's voice, pulled me back from my thoughts. Trust me, this is just an expedient measure. Once things calm down, we'll remarry. I slowly raised my head, my gaze shifting to the document on the table. Yujing, once this is over, I'll definitely make it up to you, okay? How about I buy you that new supercar you've had your eye on? Qiao Wanqing moved closer, hugging me coquettishly, her eyes filled with pleading, her voice lowered in a coaxing tone. I remained silent for a long moment. Standing on Qiao Wanqing's other side, Jiang Chen's face was deathly pale. Brother Yujing, please, can you help me? I'm an orphan. My sister is gone. I have no family left. I don't know who else to turn to for help. Please, Brother Yujing. As he finished speaking, Jiang Chen straightened up, about to kneel. Qiao Wanqing moved extremely quickly, catching Jiang Chen and holding him. What are you doing? How can a man kneel so easily? Qiao Wanqing scolded Jiang Chen in a low voice, but her eyes, tinged with impatience, looked towards me. I've already decided on this matter. I expect you to cooperate obediently at tomorrow's press conference, otherwise, I can sign. I interrupted Qiao Wanqing, having no interest in watching the rest of the charade they were putting on before me. Of course, I also knew what came after her otherwise. In my last life, not long after I tore up the divorce agreement, I was framed for seducing an intern, and key evidence of my infidelity was captured. Overnight, I went from being a victim to a street where everyone reviled, and the ones truly in the wrong, stood before the public, spotlessly clean. Qiao Wanqing seemed stunned for a moment, probably not expecting me to agree so quickly. I can sign, but I need you to promise me one thing. I raised my eyes to look at Qiao Wanqing, my gaze as calm as still water, without a single ripple. A complex expression flickered across Qiao Wanqing's face. After a brief silence, she nodded in agreement. If you have any other requests, feel free to mention them. I will do my best to satisfy them. I didn't speak. Picking up the pen on the table, I flipped to the last page of the divorce agreement and swiftly signed the name Gu Yujing. Aren't you going to look at the agreement? Qiao Wanqing furrowed her brows slightly, a hint of confusion in her eyes as she looked straight at me. I smiled. No need. There's no point. Raising my hand, I capped the pen and handed the divorce agreement to Qiao Wanqing. Anything else? My tone was as flat as if discussing the most ordinary matter. I'll pick you up tomorrow morning to go to the Civil Affairs Bureau. I gave a slight nod, offering no response. The look in Qiao Wanqing's eyes as she gazed at me was somewhat complex, but in the end, she just let out a soft sigh and turned to leave. Jiang Chen followed behind Qiao Wanqing. Just as she pulled the door open, she suddenly stopped, turning her head slightly to cast a sidelong glance at me, the corner of her mouth curling into a mocking arc. Then, deliberately slowing her movements, her thin lips parted slightly, silently mouthing 3 words, "I won." After that, she swaggered off. In my last life, she had indeed won, while I had lost everything. But in this life, I don't intend to lose again, not even by the slightest margin. After quite some time, my phone screen suddenly lit up. It was a message from Linyu. "Brother Jing, I heard from Sister Qiao. She was indeed wrong about this matter. But it took Sister Qiao a long time back then to get over what happened with Jiang Wan. She's channeling all her guilt towards Jiang Wan into making amends to Jiang Chen. Once the public opinion dies down, she told me she wants to hold another grand wedding. Trust her, okay?" Seeing Lin Yu's message, I couldn't help but laugh out loud, yet tears welled up in the corners of my eyes. It was the same in my previous life. To force me to sign the divorce papers, Qiao Wanqing had plotted with her friends. But she forgot. Her friends were also my friends. Those involved are blind. The bystanders see clearly. Lin Yu truly couldn't bear to watch 2 people, once so deeply in love, reach this point. On one hand, he earnestly tried to persuade Qiao Wanqing not to sacrifice her marriage for Jiang Chen's sake. On the other hand, he would speak well of Qiao Wanqing to me, saying she was someone who deeply valued relationships and loyalty, asking me to trust her. Back then, if Jiang Wan hadn't shielded Qiao Wanqing, protecting her with her own body, Qiao Wanqing wouldn't even be alive today. At that time, I had stubbornly retorted, "All these years, she has prioritized Jiang Chen in everything. I know she feels guilty, and I've always tried to be considerate of her." But now, Qiao Wanqing had countless ways to clarify this matter, yet she chose to sacrifice me, abandoning our 12 years together. Lin Yu's lips moved, but no sound came out. He had once asked Qiao Wanqing, and her reply at the time was, "Someone has to be let down in the end. I can only wrong Yujing. He loves me. He'll understand my helplessness. Because I love her, I should be easily sacrificed. How does that make any sense?" Fortunately, I still have a chance to turn things around. Whenever it concerned Jiang Chen, Qiao Wanqing always paid special attention. Having just gotten the divorce agreement from me the day before, she scheduled a press conference for the very next morning. I was sitting in the courtyard when Qiao Wanqing's assistant, escorted by Wang Ma, came before me. She said, "Mr. Gu, President Qiao sent me to escort you to the Qiao Corporation's press conference." Before I could speak, the assistant, assuming I was going to refuse, decided to directly relay Qiao Wanqing's exact words. She said, "Mr. Gu, even if not for President Qiao's sake, for the sake of your own reputation, you should attend this press conference." I paused for a moment, then chuckled softly. Qiao Wanqing was threatening me again. Afraid I might back out at the last minute, she was resorting to the same tactics as before to force my compliance. To protect Jiang Chen, she was willing to see my reputation ruined, forcing me to ultimately bow my head in submission. I've never been able to figure out, in Qiao Wanqing's heart, whether I was her husband or her enemy. Now she wanted to publicly clarify our relationship. So did I. The car slowly drove towards the most luxurious hotel in Shanghai. The entrance was already swarmed by reporters from all sides, completely blocked. Flashbulbs flared, the crowd bustled. The assistant led me through the throng and into the hotel lobby. "Excuse me, could you please make way?" Qiao Wanqing's voice came from behind. Jiang Chen, dressed in a well-fitted suit, appeared side by side with Qiao Wanqing at the entrance, arm in arm, like a perfectly matched couple. I turned to look, and my gaze met Qiao Wanqing's directly. As our eyes met, she coolly averted her gaze, holding on to Jiang Chen, their expressions intimate. It was as if nothing around them mattered, and as if they hadn't seen me at all. I let out a soft, self-deprecating laugh. "Mr. Gu, have you and Ms. Qiao really divorced?" The question likely came from an intern. Her voice held a trace of timidity. "Yes." I corked my lips into a smile, my tone calm, and nodded. The intern seemed intent on finding a crack in my composure, pressing further. "But Mr. Gu, you and Ms. Qiao met in university, dated for 5 years, married for 7. Just last month, Ms. Qiao spent a fortune buying you a luxury yacht, and the fireworks display on your birthday caused a sensation throughout the city." I kept smiling, but my eyes held a hint of detachment. She owed it to me, because Jiang Chen had said, "I miss my sister. Can you keep me company?" She missed my birthday celebration. This was the gift to make up for it. In my past life, I had been smugly pleased about it, never imagining that behind these so-called compensations lay such a reason. Only later did I learn that the idea had come from Linyu. Qiao Wanqing had no hand in it from beginning to end. She didn't even know where the fireworks were set off that day. "Mr. Gu, you said she owed it to you, so what about your feelings for Ms. Qiao?" The intern pressed on, her eyes showing some nervousness as the surrounding noise gradually died down. Qiao Wanqing also looked towards me, her brow slightly furrowed. I smiled faintly, but my gaze grew cold as I said, "I don't love her anymore." The intern wanted to say more, but was pulled back by the senior journalist beside her. I didn't stay until the end of the interview. After clarifying my relationship with Qiao Wanqing, I turned and left. The reporters' gazes still followed me, but I paid them no mind. Overnight, public opinion took a sharp turn. The interview from that day stayed on the trending topics for several days, its popularity refusing to wane. Especially the part where Qiao Wanqing said, "Mr. Jiang Chen was not the interloper who broke up our relationship. His sister was very kind to me back then, and Jiang Chen was the only person she cared about in this world. Taking care of him is my responsibility. Please look at this matter rationally. Yujing and I had planned for an amicable divorce a year ago. We just hadn't found the right moment to announce it. We always hoped to end this marriage in the best possible way, to avoid bringing unnecessary harm to each other and those around us. This public statement is also intended to let everyone know the truth, so there are no misunderstandings about Mr. Jiang Chen." Instantly, Jiang Chen was freed from the third-party label, becoming the biggest victim in this turmoil. And I became the heartless and disloyal one, the villain who initiated the divorce. Some went even further, led by others to speculate on the real reason for my divorce from Qiao Wanqing, saying I was physically inadequate, had perverted private habits, strange fetishes, that I had sullied their pure brother-sister relationship with my own sordid thoughts, that I had abandoned Qiao Wanqing for money. I stood at the center of public opinion, receiving accusations and speculation from all directions. Don't take what's said online to heart. Over time, no one will remember it. Just after receiving our divorce certificates from the Civil Affairs Bureau, Qiao Wanqing spoke comfortingly. I looked at her coldly, my eyes filled with sarcasm. Being cursed out on social media was the same. So how come Jiang Chen couldn't bear it? But when it came to me, it was time washes everything away. Yujing, the new year is just 3 months away. You love spring the most. When spring comes, let's have another wedding, all right? Her voice was gentle, carrying a hint of barely perceptible caution. She reached out to take my hand, but I slightly turned aside to avoid it, shifting my gaze to the reporters held back by bodyguards not far away. Qiao Wanqing seemed to realize it was inappropriate too, taking a step back, increasing the distance between us. Qiao Wanqing, I'm going back to Sucheng. Going back is fine too. Spend some time with your parents during this period. When the new year comes, I'll pick you up to bring you back. I won't be coming back. I interrupted her. She was slightly taken aback, the faint smile freezing on her face. Yujing, don't say things out of anger, okay? Just wait peacefully for me in Sucheng. Qiao Wanqing, the promise you made when we signed the divorce agreement, it's time to fulfill it now. Qiao Wanqing stared at me blankly. When I was first reborn, I wondered if things might be different this time. But when the divorce agreement was placed before me again, all I felt was relief. Qiao Wanqing, I want you to never appear before me again for the rest of your life. Without waiting for Qiao Wanqing to react, I turned and disappeared into the crowd. For a moment, Qiao Wanqing suddenly felt as if a part of her body was missing, like something had been forcibly torn away. The last time she'd felt this way was when Yujing signed the divorce papers. Recalling Yujing over these past few days, the seed of unease in her heart grew steadily. He didn't argue or cause trouble, watching everything unfold with the detached calm of an outsider. But just a short while ago, Yujing would still hold her dotingly, complaining that she was always busy, even missing his birthday. She had initially thought, when she proposed a fake divorce, Yujing would go mad and fight her over it. She had even prepared to spend some effort resolving the matter. But he didn't. He just calmly signed his name. There was even a moment when she wished Yujing would tear up the agreement and argue with her. She wanted to cast everything aside and leave with Yujing, but still, she did nothing. She thought, it's okay. He loves her, he'll understand. It's just a temporary measure. When this is all over, she'll treat him well. But Jiang Chen was different. She couldn't let Jiang Chen come to any harm. Back then, when Jiang Wan's car spun out of control, she had recklessly thrown herself towards her, ignoring the danger. Jiang Wan had died in her place. If not for Jiang Wan, she wouldn't be alive today. Before Jiang Wan died, her hand gripped hers tightly, softly murmuring Jiang Chen's name. She didn't want to break her promise. She had to take good care of Jiang Chen. Lin Yu had once asked her, if one day, Yujing and Jiang Chen were both kidnapped, and you could only save one, who would you save? At the time, she found the question ridiculous. She would save Jiang Chen, but she could die together with Yujing. Lin Yu smiled somewhat helplessly and asked, how can you be so sure Yujing would be willing to die with you? Wanqing, you can't always sacrifice Yujing first just because he loves you. Sometimes, loving someone can be tiring too. She hadn't paid his words any mind that day. She even felt that Yujing should simply love her forever. Never did she imagine that the stray bullet fired unintentionally back then would now strike her squarely between the eyes. At night, Qiao Wanqing drove back to the villa. Since marrying her, Yujing had moved his studio into a separate building within the villa grounds. Yujing had shown a unique aesthetic sense for art since childhood, already making a name for himself in the sculpting world during university. Everyone thought he was a star about to rise, and indeed, he later proved to be so. However, after getting married, Yujing's works lacked their former spiritual quality. His mentor had also advised him, urging him to break free from his current state and rediscover the feelings and mindset of his earlier years. Later on, Yujing rarely picked up his sculpting tools again. Qiao Wanqing pushed open the door to Yujing's studio. When she saw the lifelike heart on the workbench, she couldn't help but be shaken. There was hardly an intact part on that heart. It was riddled with holes. When Wang Ma came to clean, she had just turned on the light when she saw Qiao Wanqing standing before the workbench. She asked in surprise, "Madam, why are you here?" Qiao Wanqing asked, "When did Sir make this?" "The day you and young Master Jiang came to the villa," Wang Ma replied. Qiao Wanqing nodded slightly and walked out of the studio. Her expression remained calm, but internally, she was gripped by panic. She told herself over and over that Yujing's words today were spoken in anger. She was still in Shanghai. How could she possibly refuse to come back? Startled awake by a knock on the door, Qiao Wanqing realized she was back in the master bedroom, having stared at her and Yujing's wedding photo for a long time. "Wanqing, may I come in?" Jiang Chen's voice sounded from outside the door. "Why are you here?" Jiang Chen, pale-faced and thinly clothed, pursed his lips and said, "I was alone at the hotel and felt worried about you. Did I cause you trouble?" "No, it's just very late today. I'll have Wang Ma prepare a guest room. You should stay here for tonight." As she finished speaking, Qiao Wanqing was about to go out and call for Wang Ma. Jiang Chen suddenly tugged at the corner of her clothing, his eyes flickering. "Sister Wanqing, can you stay with me a little longer?" Qiao Wanqing was about to gently refuse, but meeting Jiang Chen's pleading eyes, she found herself unable to speak. After a long moment, she nodded. The moment the plane landed in Sioux City, I received a call from Mu Yayin. Mu Yayin was the daughter of my father's business partner. We grew up together and were very close. Later, her family's business failed, her father went bankrupt and committed suicide, and her mother passed away from serious illness. Overnight, she went from a wealthy young lady to a fallen girl. My father, remembering their old friendship, had been secretly supporting her, funding her education. Shortly after graduation, she interviewed and joined my father's company. Starting from the bottom, she has now become my father's right-hand woman. "Yujing, I'm waiting for you at the airport exit." On the other end of the line, Mu Yayin's voice was still gentle and pleasant. Pulling my suitcase, I walked out of the passage and spotted her in the crowd at once. Mu Yayin had a crisp and cool demeanor, dressed in a simple white shirt and leather skirt, her hair neat and tidy, though her eyes held a hint of fatigue. "Sister Yayin, long time no see." There was an inexplicable sense of grievance in my voice. I looked into her eyes, but my thoughts drifted to my previous life. 7 years ago, after marrying Qiao Wanqing, I followed her to Shanghai. In my previous life, when disaster struck me, Mu Yayin had been sent abroad by my father to expand the company's business. I never saw her again before I died. Seeing me, she stepped forward, took my suitcase, and said softly, "You must be tired from the journey. How long do you plan to stay this time?" I looked up at her and smiled. "I'm not leaving this time." She seemed slightly stunned, but quickly regained the smile on her face, saying, "Uncle and Auntie are very happy to know you're coming back." In my last life, the matter of me refusing to divorce Qiao Wanqing became widely known. My mother, afraid I would suffer alone, flew from Sioux City to Shanghai overnight. She urged me to leave with her, not to linger anymore. "Yujing, come with me." In Qiao Wanqing's heart, there will always be things more important than you. Our Yujing has been the most doted-on youngest child since birth. Mom and Dad couldn't wait to cherish you like the apple of our eye. How come you're always being wronged by her? In this marriage, you've only given, only endured grievances, yet she doesn't see how good you are. Let go, come back with Mom. Start anew, okay? But I refused. I love Qiao Wanqing. I wouldn't let go. I didn't believe this was her only way to resolve the situation. I thought if I continued to make a fuss, she would eventually remember me. I locked myself in the room, ignoring all my mother's pleas. I even deliberately angered my mother, accusing them of conspiring with Qiao Wanqing to force me to divorce, to force me back to Sioux City. My mother's face turned deathly pale with anger then. Finally, she slowly turned and staggered away. Not long after, I received a message from my father telling me to get myself to the hospital immediately. He said my mother had been in a car accident on the way to the airport. Overnight, my father looked haggard, as if his very soul had been drained. Later, when my mother woke up, she said nothing, no longer trying to persuade me. When my father took my mother back to Sioux City, he merely glanced at me coolly. "Unfilial son. Last chance. Are you coming back with us or not?" My eyes were filled with guilt, but my silence answered for me. I knew I had let them down. Only after it cost me my life did I understand. In Qiao Wanqing's heart, I wasn't that important. "Dad, is he okay?" I asked Mu Yayin. Mu Yayin nodded. "Uncle's health has recovered, and the company is doing well now. Don't worry." I smiled, looking at her gratefully. "Thank you, Yayin." Thank you for helping take care of my father all these years. Thank you for helping me look after this family. The day I arrived in Yujing, my name once again appeared among the trending topics on social media. The paparazzi released photos of Mu Yayin and me getting into a car together. All sorts of rumors and gossip spread endlessly. They claimed I had cheated long ago, yet still wanted to cling to the position of Qiao Wanqing's husband. I found it somewhat laughable. Just as I was about to exit, my phone displayed a text message sent by Jiang Chen from a burner account. A photo of him spending the night at the villa with the caption, "Last night, Sister Wanqing invited me to stay over. Guess what we did during the night? Yujing, you can't compete with me. Qiao Wanqing is mine now." I watched his provocations towards me like an outsider. In my past life, I might have immediately rushed to confront him, but now I no longer cared. Mu Yayin handed me a cup of coffee. Her gaze towards me held a hint of worry, and she spoke. "Yujing, I know all about the grievances you've suffered. I will make them pay for every single one." I pretended not to hear her, merely asking, "I heard Father mention he introduced you to quite a few potential marriage partners. Why, at over 30, are you still unwilling to start a family? Why don't you go meet them?" Perhaps the change in topic was too abrupt. She fell silent for a moment, lowered her gaze, and said, "I don't want to hold anyone back. Mu Yayin has been truly busy these past years. She handles all matters, big and small, for my father's company, like an emotionless work machine. But I knew this was just her excuse." After a long silence, I asked, "Is it because of me?" She suddenly looked up, but upon meeting my eyes, she flusteredly glanced away. Over a decade ago, after consecutively experiencing her father jumping off a building and her mother passing away, her eyes seemed to hold nothing but stagnant water. At one point, she almost couldn't hold on anymore. She stood on the edge of the school rooftop, enveloped by despair, her eyes vacant, her body swaying precariously. When I rushed over, I raised my hand and slapped her, shouting, "Mu Yayin, doing this, who do you think you're answering to?" Her lips trembled, and she merely said through sobs, "I have no home anymore. Yujing, I have no home." The young lady, always proud in front of others, now seemed like a tearful coward. "You can die, but before you do, pay back what you owe our family first. My father supported your education, not so you could give up on yourself." From then on, she studied desperately, started a business during university, and achieved considerable success. However, after graduation, she sold her venture and turned around to apply for a position at my father's company. In the first few years after she started working, she transferred almost all the money she earned to me. I refused many times, transferring it back each time. Later, she found various ways to send me gifts, and I grew somewhat impatient. I told her that behaving like this would affect my relationship with Qiao Wanqing. After that, Mu Yayin never sent anything again. "You paid it all back long ago, you know that." Back then, I said that because, Yujing, I'm in love with you. Even before you fell in love with Qiao Wanqing. I don't want to lie to myself anymore, and I don't want to see you suffer grievances. As Mu Yayin's voice trailed off, I began to truly look at her. The girl from years ago, who cried before me saying she had no home, who knew how far she had journeyed to finally dare to stand by my side. Last night, Father spoke with me for a long time, talking about the company's future and my future. Later, Mother couldn't help but ask, "Yujing, do you still love Qiao Wanqing?" I shook my head and said, "Not anymore." "Then what about Mu Yayin? What are your feelings for her?" For a moment, I couldn't answer. To say I didn't have feelings for her would make it hard to explain the trust one have in Mu Yayin. Father asked one last question. "Are you willing to marry Yayin?" Father is now planning to retire. He hopes for my happiness, and Mu Yayin is the person he approves of the most. Previously, I had been hesitant, but now I think I am willing. The day after Yujing left Shanghai, Qiao Wanqing sat in her studio, playing the interview clip of Yujing from that day over and over again. The intern had pressed, "And what about your feelings for Miss Qiao?" Yujing, smiling, had replied, "I don't love her anymore. She tried to find a trace of reluctance or unwillingness in Yujing's eyes. Nothing. Suddenly, a message from Lin Yu popped up. Did you know? Yujing is going to marry Mu Yayin. Qiao Wanqing didn't believe it, hurriedly clicking into her chat with Yujing. She wanted to confront him, yet she didn't know in what capacity she could. The last message between them was from the day they received their divorce certificate. She had said her assistant would pick him up at 10 to go to the Civil Affairs Bureau. He had replied with a single word, "Okay." And then, nothing more. Just like that, he had vanished from her life. Qiao Wanqing kicked the cardboard box under the desk in frustration, scattering the books inside onto the floor. She noticed a familiar notebook among them, Gu Yujing's diary. She paused for 2 seconds, then opened it. Line after line struck her heart like heavy hammers. Wanqing actually confessed to me today. I was a step too late. How could I let the girl confess first? I love her so much. I will always love her, love her, love her. Wanqing tried on her wedding dress today. She looked truly beautiful. Marrying her is the greatest blessing of my life. I look forward to it all day. But Qiao Wanqing stood me up again. Today is my birthday. Unforgivable. Qiao Wanqing, I'm tired. I don't want you anymore. Qiao Wanqing's fingertips trembled. The last page of the diary was dated the very day she had proposed the fake divorce. Sister Wanqing, are you all right? Jiang Chen rushed into the studio after hearing the thud. Seeing the diary in Qiao Wanqing's hands, a sinister glint flashed in Jiang Chen's eyes, instantly replaced by that hypocritical facade. May I see this diary? Jiang Chen asked softly. Qiao Wanqing, still lost in grief, said nothing. He took the opportunity to take it and read, happening upon the last page. Brother Yujing loves you so much. How could he write something like this? Jiang Chen spoke, glancing sideways at Qiao Wanqing. Seeing her brow furrowed tightly, he added fuel to the fire. Perhaps Brother Yujing wrote this deliberately to gain sympathy, to make you feel indebted to him. Don't fall for it. Just as Jiang Chen was about to say more, Qiao Wanqing couldn't bear to listen any longer. Suppressing her inner anger, she slammed the diary shut. After taking just 2 steps, Qiao Wanqing turned back and told him coldly, "Move back to the hotel tomorrow." Yujing would be angry if he knew. At her words, the smile on Jiang Chen's face instantly froze. By the time he snapped back to reality and chased after her, Qiao Wanqing was already downstairs, having left in such a hurry she hadn't even put on her coat. At this moment, only one thought filled her mind. Find Yujing, bring him back. Mu Yayin took our wedding very seriously, handling every detail personally. During the day, she rushed between the company and the wedding venue. At night, she would accompany me to select the wedding planner and our outfits. Yayin, some things can be delegated to others. You don't need to oversee every single detail yourself. I turned to look at Mu Yayin sitting beside me, persuading her gently. But she just smiled faintly, her eyes as gentle as moonlight. Yujing, I'm so happy, and you deserve the very best in this world. These things are never a burden to me. I want to see you smile. I love seeing you happy. Meeting her deeply affectionate gaze, my heart seemed to skip a beat. Yujing, all you need to do is come marry me in splendor. Leave the rest to me. She no longer concealed her emotions, the adoration in her eyes thick and undeniable. Everything was proceeding in an orderly manner, but Qiao Wanqing's arrival shattered this tranquility. That day, Mu Yayin and I just stepped out of the company elevator when we saw Qiao Wanqing standing in the lobby. Her face was pale, her hair a mess, and her clothes were not as neat as they once were. Her gaze fell on our clasped hands, and she spoke, somewhat hurriedly. Yujing, let's not wait until next spring. Let's get back together and remarry now, okay? She took 2 steps forward, wanted to take my hand. Mu Yayin subconsciously pulled me behind her, watching Qiao Wanqing warily. I squeezed Mu Yayin's hand. Let me have a few words with her. Mom asked us to come home for dinner after the wedding dress fitting. She made your favorite sweet and sour pork ribs today. Wait for me first. Mu Yayin nodded slightly, her voice tinged with gentleness as she replied, Okay. She walked a few steps away, but stopped, not moving too far. Qiao Wanqing looked up at me, her voice choked with sobs. Yujing, I saw your diary. That last sentence wasn't true, was it? I know I went too far before, and made you suffer so much grievance. Give me another chance. Can we start over? I will love you forever and always. I won't miss any more of your birthdays. Can you? Please don't abandon me. I let out a cold laugh and said, once, I saw you as my entire life, but you shattered that love with your own hands. When you pushed me away for Jiang Chen, when you watched coldly as public opinion drowned me, did you ever think of today? I'm sorry, Yujing. I didn't know it would hurt you so much. The negative comments online, I've already asked someone to stop deceiving yourself. Qiao Wanqing. I looked at her, my gaze calm. If she didn't understand the harm public opinion could inflict, why would her first thought be divorce and clarification when Jiang Chen was embroiled in those negative news scandals? In my past life, I was framed for seduction, and the so-called key evidence of my infidelity was posted online. The unbearable slander and curses were like invisible ropes, tightening around me, suffocating me. He seems like such an upright gentleman usually. I didn't expect him to be so foul behind the scenes. Cheating men are disgusting. Guys like him should be chemically castrated. What kind of family raises a man like this? Like father, like son, his dad's probably trash at home too. Later, I ended it all with my own hands. I burned down the entire studio, along with every memory related to Qiao Wanqing. As my vision was gradually consumed by flames, I actually felt a sense of release. Qiao Wanqing's lips trembled slightly, the words on the tip of her tongue, yet it felt as if something choked her throat. After a moment, she spoke. Yujing, I will make it up to you. From the past life to this one, I've heard those words too many times. Yujing, I'm sorry, Jiang Chen is sick. Could you eat dinner by yourself first? Yujing, go look at the suits yourself first. Any wedding dress is fine for me. Something suddenly came up here, and I can't get away. I thought my understanding would make her feel my love for her, hoping she would learn to cherish me as I cherished her. Until she asked me for a divorce for Jiang Chen's sake. Yujing, you have to understand. Once this is over, I will definitely make it up to you properly, okay? Qiao Wanqing always thought we had a long future ahead, but she didn't know that some things, once missed, can never be reclaimed. By the end of my last life, I could no longer tell if what I felt for Qiao Wanqing was love or mere obsession. I gave a cold laugh and said, Qiao Wanqing, once I would have done anything for you, but you took my love for granted and trampled all over it. Now I don't love you anymore. With that said, I stopped looking at her and turned to leave. Qiao Wanqing rushed over as if she'd gone mad, grabbing my hand. I don't believe it, Yujing. You're lying to me. You love me too much. You can't leave me. Come home with me, okay? Let's go back to Shanghai. Her voice held a sob, her eyes filled with pleading. Qiao Wanqing, we're already divorced, aren't we? I pulled my hand away, cutting her off. Weren't you the one who forced me to sign the divorce papers back then? The one who held a press conference to clarify our relationship. I turned to leave again. Qiao Wanqing moved again, trying to block my path. I tilted my head slightly, my gaze bypassing her to glance lightly behind her. Miss Qiao, you and Jiang Chen actually make quite a pair. Qiao Wanqing had departed from Shanghai in the early hours. The moment the plane landed, she rushed relentlessly towards the Gu Corporation. But when she saw him walk out of the elevator, smiling, hand in hand with Mu Yayin, she felt a surreal sense, as if from another lifetime. Once, Yujing had also loved to smile, gazing at her with those affectionate eyes. But from some unknown point in time, she could sense a trace of strain always underlying Yujing's smile. So in that very instant, she could no longer deceive herself. At the press conference, when Yujing said he didn't love her anymore, he hadn't been lying. It was she who had lost him. He truly didn't want her anymore. Wanqing Jia, I'm a little worried about you. Jiang Chen tugged at Qiao Wanqing's hand. Jiang Chen's voice pulled Qiao Wanqing back to reality. Her gaze was somewhat blank, her voice hoarse. I'm fine. You should head back first. She turned, about to leave. Jiang Chen grew anxious, suddenly embracing Qiao Wanqing tightly from behind, his voice thick with tears. Wanqing, yeah, I like you. Let's get married. Big brother doesn't want you anymore, but I want you. He thought his place in her heart was more important than Yujing's. He had assumed that when he proposed marriage, Qiao Wanqing would, as always, not refuse any of his requests. But now, Qiao Wanqing forcefully shook off his hands, her voice cold. Are you crazy, Jiang Chen? Do you even know what you're saying? I know. I love you. I never thought of you as just a sister. Qiao Wanqing felt somewhat dazed as Lin Yu's words of advice echoed in her ears. Jiang Chen isn't as emotionally naive as you think. If you don't want him to completely ruin your marriage, I advise you to send him away sooner rather than later. Don't wait until you've lost Yujing to regret it. How ridiculous. The truth had been laid bare before her multiple times, yet she had never truly listened. The very night Qiao Wanqing came to see me, tabloid accounts leaked screenshots of the anonymous text messages Jiang Chen had sent me before. Some netizens followed the clues and found Jiang Chen's alternate account on a social media platform. The timestamps on every cryptic photo he posted matched the times Qiao Wanqing had stood me up. In an instant, public opinion shifted dramatically. Some said Jiang Chen was calculating, exploiting Qiao Wanqing's guilt to drive a wedge between us. Others speculated that Qiao Wanqing was playing dumb, colluding with Jiang Chen to force me out and make way for him. I put down my phone and turned to look at Mu Yayin beside me, who was guiltily pretending to drink water. You hired someone to do this, didn't you? My gaze was calm, but my voice held a note of certainty. Yes, I said I'd get back at them for you, bit by bit. Mu Yayin murmured, her eyes darting elsewhere. Thank you, Yayin. I cupped her face, looking into her eyes. You never need to thank me, Yujing. Qiao Wanqing's reputation was damaged, and the Qiao group's stock plummeted. Not long after, Mu Yayin inadvertently discovered evidence that Jiang Chen had intentionally hired people to spread rumors about him and Qiao Wanqing, and she compiled it all into a package sent to Qiao Wanqing's email. Mu Yayin then collaborated with several companies to exert pressure on the Qiao group, leaving Qiao Wanqing overwhelmed. When she saw the email, Qiao Wanqing nearly strangled Jiang Chen. She demanded to know why Jiang Chen had done this. Gasping for breath as he was being choked, Jiang Chen, somewhat losing his sanity, cried out, I want to marry you. I just wanted to force Gu Yujing away. As soon as the words left his mouth, Jiang Chen grabbed a vase from the table, smashed it over Qiao Wanqing's head, and turned to flee. News that Qiao Wanqing was in the ICU spread, the Qiao group's stock price collapsed, and Mu Yayin seized the opportunity, acquiring the Qiao group in one fell swoop. As for Jiang Chen, he was arrested by the police while trying to escape. Given Qiao Wanqing's methods, his future days would likely be a living hell. My wedding with Mu Yayin was set for a day in March. On the wedding day, sunlight streamed through thin clouds, filling the air with the scent of happiness. Yayin wore a pure white wedding gown, her veil ethereal, holding a fragrant bouquet. I knelt on one knee and personally slid the ring on her finger. She said she had loved someone since she was 16, but lacked the courage to confess. But thankfully, heaven took pity on her, allowing her wish to be granted at 32. Qiao Wanqing, the female president of the Qiao group, was labeled an adulteress, accused of a chaotic private life, and overnight, the Qiao group's stock plummeted. That night, Mu Yayin held me tightly, as if terrified I would vanish from this world. Only after I pressed her did I find out. Qiao Wanqing had committed suicide. Ever since she woke up, she had gone mad. The nurses said she spoke a lot of nonsense before she died. She asked the nurse if stomach cancer was very painful. She kept saying, I'm sorry, I should have believed you. She cried out my name, saying she didn't mean it. She only wanted someone to scare me, not have them frame me. She kept falling off the bed, saying she needed to find her diary, that her diary was lost. Then she'd clamor about finding Gu Yujing. When asked where Gu Yujing was, she said Yujing was in the fire. Finally, Somehow, she snuck out and found a lighter. Clutching my diary, she ran into a large fire, seeking her Yujing. Yujing, don't leave me. Yayin's voice held a trace of unease. I held Yayin back, comforting her softly. I won't. You're here, how could I leave? Thankfully, in this lifetime, I didn't miss you again.